Chapter 318 of My Hero Academia really goes to show just how single-minded Deku has become in his pursuit of all for one and in the mindset of keeping everyone around him safe. Now, despite the fact that we did see Stain kind of watching over what Deku was going through and how he was pretty much putting All Might at arm's length, Stain does not appear in this chapter. Instead, we get something that I was not expecting. Endeavor telling Deku to be careful, to not run himself ragged, to not go at this so single-mindedly. And when it's Endeavor who's telling you that, that's how you know that things have gotten way too out of hand. He lets Deku know that heroes from America will soon be coming to Japan in order to help out the situation. Kind of like a disaster relief situation. So he doesn't want Deku running himself into the ground. But Deku says, and I love the way he's portrayed like this shadowy visage of himself. He simply says, I'm still on my feet, so I'm fine. I can't give the villains even an inch. But even the vestiges of the previous users of One for All are trying to tell him, listen, your wounds aren't healed. You can't just be running recklessly into the fight like this. Deku doesn't listen. All he listens to is the fact that someone else is in danger, and he goes leaping once more into the fray. The various previous users discuss amongst themselves, and Nana starts to feel that maybe she placed too heavy a burden on Deku, that maybe this is getting out of control. Daigoro Banjo simply sees it as Deku seeing every cause as a worthy one, no matter how big or how small. And Shinomori thinks that ultimately, with all the power that he's been bestowed with, he sees himself as a one-man army, an unstoppable force, but ultimately that's not what he is. Although he is at the very least acting as a true superhero. It is then that the second user finally speaks. He thinks that the path that Deku has chosen is the right path. It is the path that is always the way of those who wield One for All. But he feels that there's one more thing that could truly help to bolster Izuku Midoriya. However, we don't find out what it is exactly that he believes will bolster Izuku, as we then just cut over to Izuku saving people from various different villains, with unfortunately, the people he saves fearing him. I mean, with his appearance and the fact that you can't even tell who he is, not to mention the fact that he's wielding multiple quirks, they all kind of start to assume at the jump that he's working for All for One. And even when he tells them that he's not, they just run away in fear, not knowing what to think. But Izuku has no time to dwell on this, as he just continues to leap from one battle to the next, one situation after another, desperately trying to put an end to Shigaraki, the League, All for One. He's taken the words of All for One and All Might to heart. Now it's your turn. He's desperate to put an end to all of this, battling bigger and bigger foes from place to place, consumed with the want to go back to his Hero Academia, to the simpler days, to his family, to his teachers, to Eri, to his classmates and friends. He's desperate to save all of them. Unfortunately, all of this is really starting to wear on Izuku, and it's at this moment that the Dictator enters, a devious quirk user sent by All for One, who has the ability to control multiple people at once. He's taken an entire army of civilians hostage in order to fight against Izuku, with the information from All for One that Izuku would take on all of this on his own, that he would run himself to exhaustion. The Dictator just had to wait a little bit. But Izuku doesn't pay himself any mind. He simply thinks, hopefully this person will be able to lead him to All for One. So the Dictator sends in all the civilians, and Izuku just rushes through his mind what he should do. The Dictator, caught by Crust 5 years ago, his power despot, but an ability that can be taken away with one single blow to the victim, or to him. But he questions, how do I get to him? He's shielding himself with civilians. What should I use? I don't have my Air Force gloves. Should I use Black Whip? These people are crying out, this isn't our fault, we're not trying to hurt you. And Izuku knows that. And as the mob of people start to overwhelm him, Izuku doesn't even seem to react to any of it, anything that's happening. He's desperately trying to think, but it's obvious that his mind has gotten so hazy from everything that's been going on. He just doesn't have it in him anymore. And that's when a volatile voice comes calling from above, and with one shot, an armor-piercing shot from Bakugo's gauntlets, Dictator is taken out in a single blow. He's been located by Katsuki Bakugo, who calls in to someone that he's found Izuku. See, all of this brings forward the question, was what the first wielder of One for All talking about, the thing that would be able to bolster Izuku? Was it simply having friends by his side, not working alone, that would help benefit him the most? Is there some power within the second user's quirk that would allow Izuku to be strengthened in some way, shape, or form? Because he kind of alludes to that, especially because it's brought up when Bakugo appears. Not to mention, who is Bakugo working with? Is he simply working with All Might? Or is it possible that he's teamed up with the students of Class 1A in order to hunt down Izuku and make sure that he's alright? I very much think it'll be the members of Class 1A having come to find Deku and make sure that he's alright. It would be very on brand for the lot of them. And despite a lot of fans' wants for the stories to start shifting into this darker, more serious tone, an underlying need for hope has always been kind of in the background to this entire series, looming large. Because that's really what Horikoshi has been highlighting throughout all of this. Deku he's saving people, but he's not doing it with that smile that he's always talked about. Saving people with a smile. That reassurance to the people that there are heroes out there who can help and bring some form of relief to the helpless and huddled masses during this time. Hell, it's what the Safety Council had been trying to do by bringing in the students more and more to a lot of these situations, to get them ready for exactly this situation. Should something happen, now that they had lost the symbol of peace, the students would be able to step up in some way, shape, or form. Now, granted, this probably happened a lot earlier than they would have hoped for, but Class 1A has put in the training, and they've been through a lot, so if there was any time for them to really strut their stuff, it's now. So I really am curious to see what happens now. Will Izuku accept being saved, or will he stubbornly try to leave his friends behind yet again? Only time will tell, but let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you, and if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, bell, all that YouTube bullshit, or don't, I ain't your daddy, but I still love you like one, and until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.